Okay, so let's move further. After that, I'll just have a small recap of whatever we did in the last class about the vectors thing. Like we defined based upon their magnitude and direction as some scalars and vectors. Scalars with certain magnitude, certain examples were there. Then vectors with magnitude and direction, and there also we defined certain examples. Then we did some vector representation that if I have 2 points moving from A to B, then it will be represented as AB with an arrow or simply AB with a bar. Any two possible cases you can use. And the magnitude is always represented nothing but the length of a vector by putting a modulus sign. So it is your mod of AB. So that was one section we did. Then we did some types of vectors in which first one was zero vector. Means the magnitude is zero, represented as 0 raised to an arrow, nothing but a zero vector. And I told that it will be used in representing certain equations. Similarly, we had unit vector in which magnitude is said to be 1, represented as AB with a cap. So the cap representation states it is a unit vector. So by definition, we can say if I'm writing AB cap, that is nothing but it is a given vector upon its own magnitude. A number divided by itself results to 1. So vector divided by its own magnitude will make its magnitude as 1. Is nothing but mod of AB cap is 1. So if we had one plane in that if I draw an x-axis, if we draw y-axis, and if I have a z-axis, then I define 3 unit vectors. One, if it is along your positive x, I call it as I cap. If it is positive y, we call it as j cap. If it is along positive z axis, we call it as k cap. Similarly, I told if you are going for negative x, it will be minus I. If it is your negative y, then it will be minus j. If it is negative z, it will be minus k. So only there will be negative sign in case of opposite direction in the negative axis. So that much part we had completed till now. We are just moving for the third type of the vectors quickly, that is called as equal vectors. So it's a bit easy that equal means magnitude will also be same and the direction will also be the same for the two vectors. Nothing but if I have A vector, if I have B vector, see in both the cases the direction is exactly same and the length is also same. And it is mathematically equal to B vector. So whenever I write one vector as equal to another vector, that means it is equal in both the sense. In magnitude as well as equal in direction. So this particular equation, whatever is being written, that this condition same magnitude and same direction, both. Similarly, next is your like vectors. If I say like, means the direction will be same, but the magnitude might be different. So in that case, suppose this is your A vector. Now see, this is your B vector. See, the direction is exactly same, both are towards right, but the length of B is less. Means there is some relation between their length, between their magnitude. So that relation between the magnitude is represented by M, where M is called as scalar multiple. Scalar means a number, magnitude. Or suppose if I say that your B is exactly half of A, so I can say A is double of B, so M value is 2. In that way, we represent a scalar multiple. Okay, so in any way you can represent A as in terms of B, or you can write B in terms of A. Both will be right. If it is B in terms of A, you will write it as half. If it is A in terms of B, you will write it as twice. So it can be in any way, not a problem. So that is your like vectors. Next I have something called as unlike vectors, in which magnitude will be different and the direction will be exactly opposite. Means if this is your A vector, see this is your B vector, the direction is exactly opposite and magnitude might be there, might be some relation. So whenever I say direction is exactly opposite, that opposite is represented by a minus sign. Minus means opposite. And magnitude different means there was relation between their magnitude. As if here also you can consider that if A is double of B, M value will be 2. So it will be A equal to minus MB. So if you all find some number before a vector, a scalar multiple before a vector, you can relate the two vectors as like or unlike. So your M can be any real number. It can be any real number. So these are the three new vectors. So any doubt in these three? Can I proceed further? Any doubt? Here also M, you can say it is a scalar multiple. It can be anything. Yeah, both in like and unlike, the magnitude has to be different. If it is magnitude exactly same, then it will be called as equal vectors. Next, we have something called as parallel vectors. Yeah, Shaurya, I said M is a real number. So if I say parallel vectors, now here the magnitude may be or may not be same. We are more concerned with the direction part. The direction should be exactly same. So you can say it is a combination of your equal and like vectors. If magnitude is exactly equal, so like different, sorry, magnitude is equal, we call it as equal vectors. And if it is not the same, we call it as like vectors. So in general, we can call them as parallel vectors. Yes, Karthik, it will be called as equal and opposite. So here also the relation will remain same, A equals to M times B. So in like vectors, it has to be compulsory different magnitude. In parallel vectors, you can say your equal and like are the types of parallel vectors. So your equal and like vectors come under parallel vectors. Again, M is scalar multiple. At the same time, if I say opposite vectors, so magnitude may be same or different. Again, the same condition. Yeah. If I want to define a vector with same magnitude and different directions, so you can say it is equal vector, equal and opposite vector. So that way also you can define because we need direction opposite. So they are called as opposite vectors and magnitude is same to equal. So that is called as equal and opposite. Is it clear? So your equal vectors and like vectors come under parallel vectors. In parallel vectors, if the magnitude is exactly equal, we say them as equal vectors. In parallel vectors, if the magnitude is different, we call them as like vectors. This way you can remember. Yeah, Yuvraj, is it clear? Okay, so any doubt till this? We have one more set of vectors which are called as co-initial vectors, which are starting from the same point. So this is your one A vector, this is your another B vector. So see, both are starting from the same point. So they will be called as co-initial vectors. Is it clear? Any doubt? Yeah, Bhupen.
Then what is fifth type of vector?
Fifth type of vector.
Yeah,
Before this, no?
yeah,
Unlike vectors.
unlike it. Thank you, sir.
Yep. So we had equal vectors, like vectors, unlike vectors, parallel vectors, opposite vectors, and co-initial vectors. Yeah, so any doubt else? Should I proceed further? Anyone want to ask anything? Okay, fine. So some of the doubts I'm just directly clearing out on chat. No, Vedant, there is no relation for co-initial. Okay, so if it's done, I'm just moving for the next slide. Yeah, Bhupen, I will just show you for 1 minute. This is it. So equal, like, unlike. Just take a pic of it. Yeah, Bhupen, is it done? Okay. So next. Yeah, then I'll just show you later, not a problem. Just proceed. Then I will just show you the next slide, previous slides later. Okay, so don't worry who have not written. I'm just going to share the PDF of it till this. Okay, so suppose now if we talk about addition of vectors, we know already what is addition of scalars. Simply adding the numbers 1 plus 1, 2, 3 plus 5, 8. So we know if we add two numbers, what is the result going to be. So same way we are going to add two vectors because it has both magnitude as well as direction, right? So addition of vectors nothing but also called as finding the resultant or effective value. When many things are acting on a particular thing, there is a resultant effect generated due to the application of various things. So that single or the effective value we need to calculate, which is called as nothing but the addition. Now suppose if I take an example of parallel vectors. So we know parallel vectors directions are same, magnitude may not be same. So if I have a box It's resting on a smooth surface. I am pushing this box by applying some vector A. And suppose that vector A magnitude is something around 5 Newton. So pushing this 5 Newton towards right side. Going to apply some another force B, and that B magnitude I can assume something about 3 Newton. So both 5 Newton and 3 Newton are being applied on the right side. We know that the box is going to move towards the right. Let that be R vector resultant. And if I talk about the magnitude, we know it is nothing but 8 Newton. By 8 Newton, it will move towards right. So this relation, that is modulus of R equal to mod A plus mod B, this is called as your scalar addition. Means by adding their magnitude values, I got the magnitude of its resultant. So in parallel, R is equal to A plus B directly we got. But when we talk about vector, your R was the effective value. R was the effective vector whose direction was towards right and whose magnitude was 8, and that was generated because of A and B. So we say the vector addition is represented as R equal to A plus B. This is your addition of vectors representation. So when I say R equal to A plus B in the vector form, so this represents the R is the resultant of A and B. Means A and B were applied and it generated R. The total value was R. The effective value was R. Is it clear? Whenever I'm putting this mod, I explained in the start of the chapter, start of the vector section, sorry. Mod is nothing but the magnitude representation. So whenever we put mod, mod means its magnitude, its value. So whenever I write R equal to A plus B, that means R is the effective value of A and B, means two vectors. So in this case, we can observe your mathematical addition, nothing but the scalar addition and vector addition. Both the formulas are almost looking the same. Here also R equal to A plus B in terms of numbers, here in vector form. But suppose if I take an example of some opposite vectors, suppose this is a box, I'm applying vector A, suppose that magnitude is again 5 Newton. I'm applying B from the opposite side, and that magnitude I'm taking as suppose 3 Newton. Now we know after pushing from either sides, it is going to move to the side which is having a greater value. Nothing but it will move towards right, making a resultant R. And that R value we know that will be 5 minus 3, nothing but 2. Means R was equal to mod A minus mod B. Because both were opposite, means there will be a difference value because the direction of B was opposite. So when I represent such cases in vector addition, so I need to write R equal to A plus. Since B direction was opposite of A, it will be represented as minus B. Or else you can also write it as R equal to A minus B. Is it clear? That is a simple way to get for your parallel vectors and opposite vectors. Any doubt for these two vector additions? You understood what do you mean exactly by addition of vectors? It is just getting the value of resultant. Representation R equal to A plus B doesn't mean by adding A and B will get R every time. Only in the case of parallel it is possible. So this relation is just telling us that A and B applied produces R, a single effect, an effective value or the resultant value. Is it clear? And even one more small doubt, if anyone might come in your mind, that the arrow of a B. Now this is just a vector representation that doesn't signify any particular direction of B. So this arrow on the head of B is just the representation that it is a vector. So the sign will always remain the same, or else you can simply put a bar also to avoid the confusion. So that symbol and the actual direction doesn't have any relation. That is just used to represent a vector. Yeah, Karthik, is it clear? Any doubt? Mohak,
Yes, sir.
you're asking actually the opposite of that.
Sorry, sir. Okay.
Vector addition doesn't use mod.
Okay, sir.
Vector addition is just showing that two vectors were acted and the combined effect was produced as R, because it was having magnitude as well as direction. But
Okay,
the
sir.
magnitude addition is showing the numbers, number representation. So in that magnitude of A plus magnitude of B was 5 plus 3, 8. And your R value was also 8. So
Okay,
this is
sir.
your mathematical addition. When you use mod, that is mathematical. When you don't use mod, that is vector.
Sir, but the answer remains same. So why is mod
It's
required?
for parallel. It's not all the time.
Sir, opposite also it is the same.
So just one and two type I told. No?
Okay, okay, sir.
Do you think every time the vectors will be either parallel or opposite?
No, sir.
Can't it be in different directions?
Yes, it can.
There is a possible. No? So that time what to do? That time we cannot add directly and get the value.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So any doubt? Should I proceed further? Magnitude is never negative, Surya. Negative represents the direction. So if it is opposite, we need to go for minus. If I'm writing Satakshi, R is equal to A minus B means R is as per A direction. If would have written R is equal to B minus A, then R is with respect to B. Then answer would have been minus. Okay, so should I proceed further? Anyone, any doubt? Okay, so if yes, it is with respect to our consideration, Satakshi. Now the third case. What if they are coplanar? Now that is the exact doubt what Mohak had. That now we need to go for different directions. It is not parallel, it is not opposite. It is just coplanar. Coplanar means lying in one plane. Suppose if this is a box, if I consider a vertical plane, this is your A vector, see this is your B vector. They are both are just lying in one plane. They are not parallel, they are not even opposite. They both are being applied in different directions. So in such cases, how should we proceed with the resultant? How will I get the value of resultant? What will be the direction of resultant? Which can be taken. Yes, Bhupen, you're right. You can even check this in type of your work done. Work done, you have no force applied, displacement. So it can make certain angle. So that is type of your vectors applied in different directions. So in that case, if I want to find the resultant, there are certain laws. One law is called as triangle law to get the value of resultant, and triangle law states that when two vectors are represented by two sides of a triangle in magnitude and direction taken in same order, then third side of that triangle represents in magnitude and direction the resultant of the vectors. Now, with a big statement, in simple words, they just mean to say that since the vectors are taken in same order, when I say same order means it is your type of head and tail connection. What do you mean by that? Head and tail. If suppose this is your A vector, in the same order I need to take the B vector. So it is in the same order, means head of A was connected to the tail of B. Start of A was connected to end of B. So this is your A vector, this is your B vector. So you can see this B vector, I just connected near A to form the two sides of a triangle. Then they give the statement, then the third side of the triangle represents the resultant. So this is your third side. So it started from here. This was A, this was B. So this finally ended over here. So the start and end will represent my resultant. So since we are using the three vectors as per the sides of a triangle, it is called as triangle law. So this green one is your resultant R. Is the first law clear? How to represent? This is just a representation. We are not calculating the formula yet. It is just the representation. So in the first law, two sides will represent the two vectors taken in same order. Same order means start of one vector connected to end of another, nothing but tail and head connection. So this was your A vector, red one. This was your blue vector. So this was your tail, this was your head. Head means the start, sorry, the end. Similarly for B, this is your tail, this is your head. So as per the triangle law, taken in same order means it should be head and tail combination. Means head of A was connected to tail of B. So it was represented in this form, A and B. So the resultant should be the third side. So I represented the third side. And since it started from this point, ended at this point, so your R direction also in the same direction. Start and end. Is it clear? Any doubt in representing triangle law? Any confusion? Okay. Now this is not the only way to represent. There was one more law which was called as parallelogram law. Yes, Shatakshi?
Yes, sir.
What is your doubt?
Sir, I am asking then why couldn't we place the head of the resultant at the end point of A vector and
If I push the box towards right, then I push the box along B, in which direction it will move finally? It has to move something in northeast direction, right?
Yes, sir.
Because your A is going to decide from where it is going to start.
Okay.
B is going to decide where it is going to end. So your R has the same start and the end as per your A and B.
Okay, so it is like the displace.
Yes, correct. That term also you can use, that it is a displacement type. Okay. So next law to define, next representation to define is your parallelogram law. So now for parallelogram law, The statement states that if two vectors A and B represent two sides of a parallelogram in magnitude and direction, then their sum R is the diagonal of the parallelogram through their common point in magnitude and direction. Again, a very big definition. Instead of going this very big definition, I can go in simple terms. They mean to say, if they represent two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, means here we need to connect them tail to tail. Means this is your A vector, this was the tail of A vector. Similarly, B vector, there was a tail also of B vector. Now if I connect the tail of A to tail of B, it will represent in this form. Now these two should represent the sides of a parallelogram. So I need to complete a parallelogram. So I can complete a parallelogram over here. Then they say the R is the diagonal of the parallelogram through their common point. So through their common point, if I draw a diagonal, this is your resultant R as per the parallelogram law. If you just compare your triangle law and parallelogram law, see R in both the case is same. It is not going to change. R magnitude and direction is not going to change. Just two different laws for two different representations. Just two different representation, but both are giving you same magnitude and direction for resultant. One is forming a triangle, other is forming a parallelogram. One is connected head and tail, and then the final displacement you can say. And the second is connected as co-initial. And from the same co-initial point, your resultant is also passing. Is it clear? Okay, so now one doubt I have got. Yeah, Dhruv. So you mean to say if what will happen if three vectors are there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now currently, till now, we are dealing with only two vectors at a time. Okay. When we have more than two, like 3, 4, 5, 6, there is a topic called as resolution of vectors.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that time we can add them and get my two resultant, horizontal and vertical, and we get the resultant.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but,
Thank you.
okay. So whenever we have only two vectors, we need to go by either triangle law or parallelogram law. When it is more than, then that topic we will come through. What happens when we have two or more vectors, how to get the resultant. So that will come as the last part of the chapter. So till this, is it clear? So diagrammatically, I just showed how the resultant can be represented for two vectors acting at a time. So any confusion, any doubt in the representations? Are they pretty clear? For triangle law, how to connect? Parallelogram law, how to connect? Just two different representation, answer is going to remain the same. Should I proceed? Anyone want to ask anything? Yeah.
Sir, is the length of R vector representing its magnitude?
Yeah. Yeah, Adi. Hello, Adi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is the length of R vector representing its magnitude?
Yes. In both the cases, it is representing the magnitude. I am forming the exact triangle and exact parallelogram.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Vinayak. Vinayak.
Sir, for more than two vectors, we have to use polygon law.
But polygon law again is a split of your triangle law. head and tail continuously we need to connect them. But the final result, if we need, that is nothing but application of one triangle law various times. Yeah, Vinayak? Yeah, Vinayak, is it clear? Okay, fine. Sure. So any other doubt till this? Is it totally clear? Okay, fine. So I'll just proceed for the next section. Now we got diagrammatically how to represent them. Now we need to check out the values for your R. If A and B are known, like for parallel and opposite, if A and B was known, it was simple for me to calculate the value of R in terms of magnitude and direction. But if it is coplanar in different directions, so how to get the value of magnitude and direction of R? So for that case, let's have a very small derivation. That is finding the resultant magnitude and direction. Yeah, Rana?
हाँ सर,
हाँ जी, या राना?
मैं डिराइव करने में हेल्प करूं?
हाँ बताओ कैसे करना है?
हाँ सर, एक पहले बना लो, 2 वेक्टर बना लो सर, कोई इनिशियल।
अच्छा, कोई भी 2 वेक्टर्स बनाने बाद में?
हाँ, दोनों का टेल सेम होना चाहिए।
क्या सेम होना चाहिए?
टेल सेम पॉइंट पे मीट करना चाहिए।
हाँ बराबर, बाद में?
क्योंकि उसके टेल से एक रिजल्टेंट निकलेगा।
ओके, मतलब मुझे
पैरेललोग्राम, हाँ पैरेललोग्राम कंप्लीट कर लो सर।
कर
पहले
लिया।
तो उसका एक डायगोनल बना दो, वो रिजल्टेंट हो जाएगा।
ओके, बना दिया बाद में।
हाँ, अब जो हेड है वो साइड, मतलब रिजल्टेंट का जो हेड है,
हाँ
उसके टिप से एक परपेंडिकुलर ड्रॉप करो।
ओके, इसके टिप से एक परपेंडिकुलर ड्रॉप करना है, कर दिया।
और फिर उसको ज्वाइन कर दो वो उससे।
बराबर, बाद में?
अब सर वो वाला एंगल थीटा हो जाएगा।
कौन सा वाला है?
अभी कौन सा वाला कैसा? हाँ वही वाला थीटा हो जाएगा।
ओके
सर तो अभी पाइथागोरस थ्योरम लगा देते हैं।
पाइथागोरस?
हाँ पाइथागोरस लगाते हैं सर। रिजल्टेंट स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू वो नीचे वाला स्क्वायर प्लस ऊपर वाला स्क्वायर।
हाँ,
तो पाइथागोरस लगा देंगे सर। कुछ नेमिंग कर दो ना, ऐसे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा देखने में।
अच्छा अच्छा नहीं लग रहा। ओके चलो, इसको ओ नाम दे देता हूँ, फिर इसको ए नाम दे देता हूँ, इसको डी, इसको सी, इसको बी नाम दे देता हूँ। ओके
हाँ सर, ओसी स्क्वायर
हाँ,
इज इक्वल टू,
बोल बोल। ओसी स्क्वायर इक्वल टू
ओ ए प्लस ए डी का होल स्क्वायर
हाँ,
प्लस सी डी स्क्वायर।
बट एडी और सीडी क्या है?
अरे सर वो भी बताऊंगा ना, थोड़ा इंतजार करो।
हाँ हाँ, बोलो बोलो।
अभी सर जो ओबी है और वो वाला साइड मतलब एसी है, वो दोनों सेम है।
बराबर।
तो सर एक वेक्टर को ए ले लो, एक को बी ले लो।
अच्छा, मतलब यहाँ पे मैं ए लिख लूँ
हाँ,
और इसको बी लिख
वहां
लूँ।
पे बी ले लो।
हाँ,
तो सर अगर ये एसी भी बी हो जाएगा,
अच्छा ये भी बी हो गया।
तो सर सीडी हो जाएगा बी साइन थीटा,
अच्छा ये साइन थीटा हो गया।
नीचे वाला कॉस थीटा।
ओके
तो सर रिजल्टेंट स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू, मतलब ओसी स्क्वायर रिजल्टेंट है, तो रिजल्टेंट स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू, हाँ थीटा लगा दो।
हाँ
रिजल्टेंट स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू
ओके
ए स्क्वायर ए प्लस बी कॉस थीटा का होल स्क्वायर।
अच्छा, वो पूरा ओपन हो जाएगा।
हाँ, वो ओपन हो जाएगा तो एक जगह, और वो बी साइन स्क्वायर हो जाएगा। तो एक जगह बी कॉस स्क्वायर, एक जगह बी साइन स्क्वायर, वो बी स्क्वायर हो जाएगा। और
तो
तो
फाइनल
ओपन किया
फॉर्मूला क्या
उसमें
आएगा?
2ab cos थीटा मिलेगा,
हाँ,
फिर हो गया।
अच्छा तो फाइनल आंसर क्या मिला?
तो r इज इक्वल टू अंडर रूट a स्क्वायर प्लस b स्क्वायर प्लस 2ab cos थीटा।
बढ़िया, कहाँ से पढ़ा रहा ना,
1 साल पहले आपसे पढ़ा था सर।
इसलिए याद है।
हाँ
चलो ठीक है, थैंक यू राना।
हाँ, वेलकम सर।
Okay. Yeah, Vinayak, when you are correct, the direction. Okay, so who are totally new, I will just give a small derivation of it. Yeah, Surya, I will just come to your method then. एक बार मैं explain कर लेता हूँ, then I will come to your method, Surya. Okay, so again, as he said, I need to first consider one OA vector as A vector, another vector OB as B vector. So both are co-initial. Then I will just complete a parallelogram and let the intersection that be C. The resultant will be nothing but the diagonal as per the parallelogram law. So I'm just using parallelogram law to simplify. You can use the triangle law also, it is not going to change. It is going to remain the same. So this angle I will just assume as theta between your two vectors OA and OB, the angle. And between the resultant and the OA vector, I will just assume the angle as alpha. Now certain assumptions. So OA is A vector, OB is B vector, and OC is C vector. Oh, sorry, OC is R vector. So sorry. And let the magnitude of OA be represented as simple A. Let the magnitude of OB be B. And that OB is same as your AC, as you said, opposite sides of parallelogram. So that will be same as your AC vector magnitude. Means that will also become B. And your OC, let it represent as R. So I just taken some assumptions for your vectors and their magnitudes. Now I just need to make some small construction. I'll just extend your OA vector further and drop a perpendicular from C so that the intersection point will make some angle as 90 degree, and let us assume that point as D. Now the angle CAD will also be theta because your AC and OB are parallel, OD as the transversal. So I can say by corresponding angles, corresponding angle theorem, you can say your angles are same and CAD will be your theta. I need to target that triangle ADC and need to apply some trigonometry now. So why I need to apply trigonometry? Even there is a condition, there is a reason for it. Because if I want this length R, I need to target this big right angle triangle. And since it is 90 and R is the hypotenuse, so I can use Pythagoras theorem. For that, I need the value of CD, that is the one side of right angle triangle, and also I know the value of OD. In that OD I know the value of OA, but I don't know the value of AD, means I need to find AD also. Means first my target, before applying Pythagoras in the big triangle, I should know the value of CD and AD. Only then Pythagoras could be applied. So I just choose the triangle which were having CD and AD. So I took ADC triangle. So that is the reason why I'm taking triangle ADC. I know AD is adjacent to theta. You might have learned in trigonometry what is adjacent side, what is opposite side, what is hypotenuse. So this is your adjacent. So the trigonometric ratio which relates adjacent and hypotenuse is nothing but your cos theta. So I can write cos theta as AD upon AC, adjacent by hypotenuse, and your AC value is B. So I can write it as AD by B. which implies your AD will be B cos theta. So I got the value of AD. So one length is being done. Next is CD. Now CD is opposite to theta. Now opposite side and hypotenuse are related by a ratio called as sine. So I will write sine theta as CD by AC. But AC again it's B. So that will become CD by B, which implies your CD value will be B sine theta. So now I got both the values. Now if I carefully see these things, if I know the value of angle theta, I know their values in terms of sine and cos. So you might have learned one trigonometric table for standard angles. If it is 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree. So for those angles, the trigonometric values will be known. And for other angles, other than your standard angles, you have a logarithmic book, log book, in which the trigonometric tables are also given. So for any angle up till 90 degree, you can calculate the values of your trigonometric ratios. Now moving further, once I know AD and CD, we are going to apply the Pythagoras theorem in the bigger triangle because I need R. So if I go for triangle ODC, that is the big triangle. So in that OC square is equal to OD square plus DC square. So OC square will remain as it is. Currently we will keep it as it is. OD can be written as OA plus AD the whole square. DC square will remain as it is. After that, your OC will be represented as R. Your OA and AD. Now your OA value was A. AD value was B cos theta. Now from where we got these things, you can check over here. This is your A. And see, this is your AD value. So both are being represented, both were from the given data. And one was your calculated value. Now once you get these things, similarly DC. See, even the DC value is known, that is B sine theta, means that will be plus B sine theta the whole square. After substituting all these values, R square will remain same. Here A plus B the whole square, your identity, whole square formula, that will be A square plus 2AB cos theta plus B square cos square. For your A plus B cos theta the whole square expansion. And B sine theta the whole square will become B square sine square. Now if you carefully see for the last two terms, in both the terms you can say your B square I can take common and it will be left with B square bracket cos square plus sine square. Now identity cos square plus sine square is 1. Yes, is correct. So if it is 1 means what is R square now? A square plus 2AB plus 2AB cos theta plus B square. So I got the value of R as root of A square plus 2AB cos theta plus B square, which is the magnitude value. So see, I got the magnitude. So if I know value of A, I know value of B. If I know the value of angle between them, for that angle, I will know the trigonometric value. Substituting in this formula, I can get the value of resultant. So I got the magnitude. Now to get the direction. Now the directions are given by the angles. And that direction of R, I am considering with respect to A. So as per A, the direction of R was in terms of angle alpha. So that alpha is going to give me the value of direction. So to get that alpha, again I will take the triangle ODC Now in that triangle, if I want angle alpha, I cannot use hypotenuse because in the data hypotenuse was to be calculated. So without using hypotenuse, if I use the other two sides of the right angle triangle, opposite and adjacent, the trigonometric ratio which helps is your tan. So tan alpha will become, opposite is CD for the big triangle and adjacent is OD. In that CD I will keep it as it is, and OD will be OA plus AD. Again, all these values I already know. Where is CD? See, CD is over here. Where is OA? See, this is A. Where is AD? So this is AD. If I'm going to substitute all these values over here, so see, it's B sin theta upon A plus B cos theta. So I got the value of tan alpha, and to know the angle alpha, tan will be shifted on the other side, that becomes tan inverse. Is it clear? So I got the value of direction as well as the magnitude for any type of vector. Now this can be applied for your parallel and opposite. For parallel, direction is same, theta will be 0. If theta is 0, cos 0 value is 1. If cos 0 is 1, it will be a square plus 2ab plus b square, that is a plus b the whole square. And square and root cancel, you will get r equal to a plus b. So you got the same which was for parallel. If it is your opposite, opposite means angle between them is 180 degree, exactly opposite. So cos 180 is minus 1. So this becomes minus 2ab. So it is a square minus 2ab plus b square, which will be a minus b the whole square. Square and root gets cancelled. So r will be a minus b. Same we got for your opposite. So these two you can treat as the generalized formula for finding resultant between two vectors placed at different angles with each other. So it can be parallel, it can be opposite, it can be any angle. But formula is applicable for two vectors and resultant of those two vectors. It's very important derivation. That is actually your 3 marks derivation in your 11th standard. Even if you go for NCRT, even if you go for ISC board, or even if you go for state board, all the 3 boards, this derivation comes for 3 marks. So it's completely important. Okay, so those who want to copy it down, they can copy. Those who want to write it down, they can write it down. Those who have any doubt, they can ask me. Any confusion if you have in simplifying it, you can let me know. Yes, Gargi, you are correct. Yeah, Piyush, you got the direction alpha. If I say alpha is 30 degree, suppose by solving this entire thing, I got the answer as 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3. So tan inverse of 1 by root 3 means when the value of tan is 1 by root 3, when the angle is 30 degree. So alpha is 30. So you can say if A is along positive x direction or towards north, you can say your resultant is 30 degree towards, from north. Or if OA represents east, you can say R is nothing but your 30 degree towards northeast. So this is how the directions are calculated. Yeah, Piyush, is it clear? Piyush, clear? Yeah, Naman.
Sir, I didn't understand the fourth part.
Achha, which section? The last or the tan one?
Tan alpha, yes, sir.
Tan in trigonometry, it is nothing but the relation between the opposite and adjacent. That definition you are aware of?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see why I applied tan, because in the entire triangle ODC, the hypotenuse we need to calculate by a formula which we derived. Means R was not given to you directly. The final
Yes.
formula of alpha should not have R in it. I should have A and B in it. So to have
Okay.
A and B, I have to use only OD or CD. Means that is your adjacent and opposite side. So which ratio will give
Okay.
you relation between opposite and adjacent? That was tan.
Tan.
So I use tan. Even you can use cot, because that is
Okay,
also
sir.
opposite upon adjacent upon opposite, the same of it, reciprocal of it. But will the angle is going to change? Angle is not going to,
No.
because cot and tan are reciprocals of each other.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Yes, Dhruv, it is applicable for all the angles. I said all the angles. Yes, Piyush, we can write for cot also. Because tan of 30 is cot of 60. They are same. (30° from east towards north. Okay, so is it clear? Okay, Surya arctan. Yeah, arctan is the inverse of tan. Yeah, you can say in that form. Yes, it should be between 0 and 180. Then the values will change. If you know all the values of trigonometric ratios from 0° to 360°, the method to find it, it will be same. Yeah, Adi. Wait, I'll just connect you. Adi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're asking how we'll get direction from this.
Yes, sir.
Acha, just tell me how we usually find the directions. In what terms we get the directions? Normal on a magnetic compass.
Angles.
Yeah, the same way. So if OA is your reference,
Okay, okay, sir. Understood.
angle gives you the direction.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Yeah. Sheikh, you're simplifying it further, nothing else. Yeah, Sheikh, what have you written that? Sheikh? Ryan? Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what you wrote that I didn't get.
Sir, like I just wrote the same thing, like cos inverse. Then we can write it one like a plus b cos theta by b sin theta, right?
How come you wrote it as cosec?
Sir, because sir, if we write cot inverse, then the equation will flip, right?
Okay, you are saying me means the exact terms will get reciprocated, right?
Yeah,
Inside.
yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, then it's correct.
Okay, sir.
या अथर्व काय झालं रे?
Sir, how you take tan on LHS?
अच्छा, tan on LHS. On RHS side you're saying?
Yes,
This
sorry, RHS.
tan, if it shifts on the other side, it is called as inverse operator, tan inverse. Means tan acts on an angle to give you a value. Simple example, if I write tan 30 or tan 60. So what is the value of tan 60? Tan 60 is equal to root of 3, correct? This is the answer. So when I write in a reverse form, I say 60 is equal to tan inverse of root 3. Understood?
Yes, sir.
This is how we actually represent it. So these are the inverse operators.
Yes.
Yeah, Parth?
So the previous doubt which was asked, I didn't understand.
Acha, which Ryan told.
Yes, yes.
Actually, he was using cot inverse over here. So when you use cot inverse, this entire fraction will get reciprocated, na?
Yes. So instead of
So that tan theta will get divided with both the terms. So the first term he wrote as a by b cosec theta, and second term he wrote as b cot theta directly.
okay.
Understood?
Yes. Sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I hope the entire derivation is clear. So can we move further for some numericals, some questions? I don't have much of the questions. Yes, Surya. Yes, Surya.
Oh, yes, sir. So,
Ah.
so for the triangle law method, it is basically cosine rule, right? Just that the sign is flipped for 2ab cos theta.
Or is this b if I shift over here?
Yes, sir. So if that b you shift over there, now the angle becomes 180 minus theta, right? Between the OA and AC. Yes, sir. That is 180 minus theta.
No. The angle is always calculated with co-initial points.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm saying you could. I'm giving the final answer in terms of theta only.
Okay, understood. So you're taking this angle as 180 minus theta. Then
180 minus theta. So then if you apply cosine rule from trigonometry, you have two sides and the included angle.
Yeah.
So it will be a square, square root of a square plus b square plus minus 2ab cos theta. But now it's cos 180 minus theta, which is minus cos theta. So then
so it will be minus, that will be plus.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So
we
even
can
that,
do that also.
you can do. Yeah. Not a problem. Yeah, Bhupen.
Sir. Sir, how come the two AB cos theta came over there?
A plus b cos theta the whole square will be first term square plus 2 times first term into second term, na?
Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry.
2ab cos theta.
Expansion formula.
Yeah, expansion formula, correct. So anyone else, any doubt? No. It is tan inverse is not 1 by tan. Tan inverse means it is the inverse operator. Means on the left hand side, if it is tan, on the right side, it becomes tan inverse. It is the operator inverse. The operation is inverse. Means tan acts as an angle. Tan inverse acts on a value to give you angle. If I write tan alpha whole raised to minus 1, that will be 1 by tan alpha entirely. But tan inverse is just a shift of operator. Tan acts on angle to give you value. Tan inverse acts on value to give you angle. Okay, so should I proceed for the questions? Anyone want to ask anything? Okay. So very simple question. I'm not confusing all of you with any difficult questions. The magnitude of three vectors are given as 12, 5, 13 units. And a plus b is c, then the angle between a and b is. Now directly also you can get the answer. Yeah, Aniket, Rana got the answers. because 12, 5, 13 are nothing but the Pythagorean triplets. Arsh, you need to check the answer. Naman, check the answer. It's not correct. Yes, Dhruv, check the answer. Surya, Rijul, Atharva, Yuvraj, Karthik, check the answer. Vinayak, you're correct. Aryan, you're correct. Arsh, yeah, now you're correct. Minoti, Rishav, Matthew, you're correct. Karthik, check the answer. Radhika is correct. Okay, Parth, Anav, Anant. Yeah, Anant, how you got that value? Anant? You're not audible. Acha, okay, not a problem. Mayuresh,
Yes, sir.
you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Tell me how you got that answer.
So first of all, A value is 12, means A vector value is 12, B vector value is 5, and C vector value is 13.
Okay.
So as the statement says that A vector plus B vector gives C vector.
Okay.
So we will arrange the vector A and vector B such that in the head tail position. And we will use the triangle law to determine the value of vector C, which is 13.
Okay, but how come you know by arrangement that it is 90? Means you just thought that it is a Pythagorean triplet.
Yeah.
And as per the Pythagorean triplet, you took the answer.
Yes, sir.
But if it is not, then
we will use tan alpha wala value.
Tan alpha or resultant wala formula?
हाँ, resultant wala formula.
Okay, fine. Chalo. Not a problem. Thank you, Mayuresh.
Welcome, sir.
So in this case, we can easily identify that 5, 12, and 13 are the Pythagorean triplets. So as per that also you can calculate, or else if the values are different, not Pythagorean triplets, you can apply the formula. So we know resultant is root of a square plus 2ab plus b square. So just substitute. C will be 13, a will be 12, b will be 5. Just substitute in the formula. So we can see 12 square and 5 square. That is 169, and left hand side 169. So both the sides, those terms will get cancelled, and directly you are left with 120 cos theta equal to 0. Means cos theta is 0, so theta is 90 degree, or we write it as pi by 2 in terms of radians. So if they are Pythagorean triplet, it is easy. Just form a triangle, then you can relate the angles. If not, you can apply the formula also. Is it clear? So what will be the angle in this case between B and C? Acha, Shaurya is saying 45. Okay. Yeah, Bhupen, what is your doubt?
Sir, in the previous one. Sir, can you show previous page?
Acha, you the previous slide you are asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, I have doubt in that.
Acha. You just be on a hold. I will just clear this doubt once, and then I will go. You be online, not a problem. Yeah. Wait. Which section you had doubt? You said me, Bhupen.
Sir, finding the magnitude and direction of the resultant.
Tell me in this.
Sir, in the fourth one, sir, how the 1 upon tan came
It
there?
is 1 by tan.
Sir, in alpha is equal to tan minus
This
1.
is tan inverse. This is not 1 by tan. As you say, square becomes square root on the other side.
Yeah.
Tan becomes tan inverse on the other side. Sine becomes sine inverse on the other side.
Sir, but how it has came, sir, tan minus?
No, these are the operator representations. Tan is an operator, a type of operator. So when the tan operator is shifted on the other side, it is called as an inverse operator.
Oh, it has been shifted over.
That is shifted. Tan becomes tan inverse on the other side. As you shift square on the other side, it becomes square root. The same.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well. Okay, so for the next question, tell me what will be the angle between B and C. Okay, Yatharth is saying 30, Aniket is saying 12 by 13 or 5 by 13. Nah. Sixty 45, 5 by 13. Okay, Aniket, sine inverse of 12 by 13. Yeah, Aniket, how come 12 by 13?
Sir, we can make a triangle with them.
So I will make a triangle with you. Okay, so first this is A, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is B. And I need the resultant, so this is C, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the values for A was 12. For B was 5 and C was 13. Okay, now tell me.
Yeah, so we have to find the angle between the B and C. So we that let it be theta. So
Okay,
sin
so I will
theta
draw
will be
theta.
12 by 13. So it is arc sine 12 by 13.
Ajay, you mean to say I need to make an angle theta over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I make angle theta over here, so this angle we need.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you applied which ratio?
Sine.
Acha, sine theta. So that will be 12 by 13.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and sine will become on the other
Arc
side as
sine.
arc sine. Yeah, sine inverse. So that will be sine inverse of, inside the bracket, that will be 12 by 13.
13.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, even you can go for cos inverse, not a problem. Both the way it is correct. Yeah, Surya, even that is right. In terms of tan inverse also you can calculate. So cos inverse is also possible, sine inverse is also possible, and your tan inverse is also possible. All the three forms. Okay, so anyone is having any doubt? Should I give the next question? A smaller one? Who is going to solve for me? Yeah. What it is written? Shravan.
Yes, sir.
Actually, it is Shravan only written. Okay,
Yes, sir.
it's so difficult to recognize. Okay, fine, chalo. So you want to explain me the next one?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you will get it?
Maybe.
Acha, maybe. Okay, just be on a hold. Ryan is having some doubt. Yeah, Ryan, what is your doubt?
Sir, I didn't understand how did you calculate the angle between D and C?
D and C.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was simple. Na? This was A, this was B, and this was C, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the angle required was this one.
Yes, sir. So 13 sine theta should equal to 5, right?
So this was 12, this
Yes.
was 5, and this was 13. So they applied sine of opposite by hypotenuse. So 12 by 13.
Okay.
Sine theta. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Acha, okay, the theta is there. Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Dhruv, between 12 and 13, that was the angle between A and R. We needed between B and C. Yeah, Anant, even that is correct. Okay, fine. So I'm just moving for the next question. So Shravan is ready.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Shravan?
Yes, sir.
You're from which branch?
Sir, Pawai.
Achha, you're from Powai. Okay. So anyone from Chembur, Nerul or anything? Any other branch nearby? Who want to solve it, Shravan? No, Rana, you are not. Achha. Yeah, Vedant. You're also ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then I'm just giving the question. Let us see who is going to solve it first. Even Rana, you can start. Rana from Bhandup. So 3 of you, I need the answer quickly. Who will tell me the final answer? So here is your question. It's a simple one. So Rana, Vedant and Shravan. And even rest of you can try and just pitch the answer in the chat. And just mention the branch also with the value. If you are other than Powai, Thane and Kharghar. Yeah, Rana, you got? In the chat, whenever you are putting the answer, put your branch also. Okay, one answer I got.
Sir, isn't true when
Yeah.
Result root 7
क्या बोला राना? नहीं सुनाई देगा. So Aniket gave the answer. I don't know whether it is correct or incorrect. So one answer I got from Pavai. Viraj, put the branch also along with it. Okay, so one answer I got from Kharghar. Rana, क्या कर रहा है? There is another person who is solving the answer. Pankaj, what is the answer of that? I need the angle. You are very close to it. No Surya. Okay, so Shankar gave the answer from Nehru Center. Dhruv, which is the branch? Specify the branch. Okay, one more answer from Pavai. That's 60. Surya branch. Yes, Shravan and Vedant, you're getting the answer?
No, sir.
Actually, you are but trying, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Pavai, one more answer. 0. Along with Aniket, there are a variety of answers. Okay, so sum of Pavai, okay, it's 120, same Naman. Okay, Ryan, okay, Pavai, same. Adi Sharma is giving some different answer from Nerul as 60. Pranay, change. I need the angle. I need the angle, Pranay. The formula or the value you got it correct. Yeah, Pankaj, even you are correct. Acha, Divya is also getting the same from Pavai as Aniket, 120. Sahitya, Kharghar, okay, 120. Okay, so 120 are many, even 60 is there. Matthew, Kharghar, okay, 120 again. Soham from Pavai, okay, 120. Pavai, most of the answers I am getting. Good. I'm getting many answers from Powai. What about the other center? Thane center, I haven't got any one answer. Tanishq, you need to check. Thane center. Yeah, Dhruv, that is correct. But there is some change in the answer. It is minus. Mention the branch also. Archit, which branch? Pranay again, Powai. Okay, so one answer I got from Thane. 45 degree. Okay, so Minoti, one more answer from Nirul. Powai. Okay, Powai is maximum. Dhruv, Powai. Yes. Powai. Yeah, Satvik also Powai. Good. So Powai is a bit of competition. Maximum people are giving the answers. Till now, almost 15 are there. 15 to 20, 15 people have given the answers. Shravan and Vedant, where you, till what step have you reached?
Sir, I think I have reached into a wrong equation, namely 3r square equals to 27n square minus 2n cos theta.
Achha. You need to just cross check. You need to just cross check it. Piyush, okay, see Powai again 120, Ronit 120, Khargar, Rana 120, Khargar. Khargar is just 5 answers till now. Thane, I have got only one answer. Nerul only 4 answers. Again Powai, Shaurya, Powai, Shashank. Okay, Ananya is getting 60. Okay, so someone from Powai, tell me the solution. Okay, wait, I will only check who is the one who can give. Hmm. Divya?
Mama, this is space.
Divya?
So the Mr. meeting is not.
Divya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought you were talking to someone else. Okay, fine, not a problem. How you got that answer?
Sir, I used the formula R is equal to root of a square plus 2ab cos theta plus b square.
Okay, so you got some condition in that first, applying first conditions. Yeah, Divya.
Sorry, can you repeat?
I'm just asking, did you get any condition while you applied the first values?
Sir, condition meaning?
How you solved it, you tell me. First you applied the formula, you substituted the values 3
Yeah,
and
so I got one equation r square equal to 2 square plus 3 square plus 12 cos theta.
okay, and that was nothing but equal to?
And then I did one more equation. So 4r square is equal to 2 square plus 6 square plus 24 cos theta.
Okay, and then you substituted r square in it?
Yeah,
Okay, so something like this.
yeah.
Okay, means 4 will get divided and 6 cos theta equal to minus 3, cos theta is minus half, correct?
Yeah.
And theta is 120. Perfect. Thank you, Divya. Okay, so just the same equation I need to apply twice. Left hand side I applied 3 and 2, I got a relation of r square. Later same formula I applied, but r was now 2r. So 2r the whole square will become 4r square. A and B, in that B is 2, but A value is increased to 6. And cos theta minus half. So cos theta half is for 60 degree. Minus means it is the second quadrant. So we need to do 180 minus. So 180 minus 60 is 120 degree. That is property of trigonometry. Yes, Ryan, but we don't take angles more than 180. We take only between 0 to 180, Ryan. So is it clear? So those who don't have any doubt, they can leave the meeting because it's 5:32. Next lecture will start in 15 minutes. You can take a break. Those who have any doubt, they can stay. Those who want to look at the previous slides, they can also stay. I'll just move on the slides one more time. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope I will give some more questions in the next class. We can end the chapter tomorrow. Yes, Rana. Upen, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Sir, can you show the types of
I'm
vectors?
just showing all the
Page.
slides from the start. Okay.
Okay, sir.
From the types you need?
Yes, sir. This page only.
Okay, this page
Sir.
only you need. Okay.
No, sir. Back. Sir, can you go?
This
Yeah.
one?
This page. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. This page.
Here is one. Just give me Alvia. Alvia, just give me 2 minutes. I will just go by the last slide. Just give me 2 minutes. Bhupen, once it's done, tell me. Huh? Bhupen, let me know once it's done.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, it's done.
Okay. Right. Anything else you need? Okay, Alia, I'm just showing you the last slide. Yeah, Anushri, I'm going to send. Pankaj, cos negative means it lies in the second quadrant. And for second quadrant, I need to represent angle as 180 minus because I don't want to change the ratio. If you write 90 minus, it will change the ratio to sine. That is a trigonometric property. If I want to keep the ratio same, I need to represent the angle as 180 minus for the second quadrant. Okay, Alvia. Okay, so thank you everyone. I'm just ending the meeting. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye-bye.